With the Utah Jazz, the season's winding down. What does Coach Hardy want the team to focus on with roughly 10 games left?
So Utah Jazz really isn't much to talk about with the Utah Jazz, but we are a Utah Jazz podcast, so we do need to come up with something to talk about. This is what happens in this time of the year. I saw really,
especially for this type of team.
Yes, exactly. So it's not necessarily been the best year for basketball in the state of Utah for this Utah Jazz team. It's the return of Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs to Salt Lake City. The Cavs are the top seed in the East right now, riding a 4-game losing streak coming in to Salt Lake City after following up a 16-game winning streak prior to that. Did you realize that they won 16
in a row? Yeah,
before they went on that little slide there.
They were killing it, dude. They looked unstoppable,
and then lost 4 in a row, and then they came in here and got right back on track there with our team, giving the Jazz just a good old-fashioned whooping there, 120-91. Man, what do you think about this Spiders return to Salt Lake City, man?
Anytime Donovan Mitchell comes to Salt Lake City, I think it's kind of a cause for celebration, man. I think that Utah Jazz fans forgot that we watched this guy literally grow up, literally blossom right in front of our eyes, right? He came out in that first game. There's a late scratch. He comes onto the floor and scores like 13 points in his first career game. And his trajectory just kind of skyrocketed. He blew up. All of a sudden, he's got a shoe deal with Adidas, and he's putting out 2 or 3 shoes a year. He makes it to the NBA All-Star game as a slam dunk contestant, wins a slam dunk contest. All of a sudden, the Utah Jazz, after that horrific offseason and losing Gordon Hayward, and everyone was heartbroken.
Remember that offseason?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, the offseason was horrible. July 4th, Gordon Hayward, thank you for ruining my 4th of July that year. I still remember it to this day. During that same time, what I also remember was seeing Donovan Mitchell posting on Facebook and Instagram, hey, where's the party at?
Oh, yeah.
And this dude's literally posting videos of going to just random people's parties as a 21-year-old kid. No one had any idea that he was going to be a $300 or $400 million contract player.
Yeah, he really did kind of screw the team by re-signing with the Cavs for that Supermax, but that's good, man. Like I've got a pair of Donovan Mitchell shoes. I've got
the Dons.
Yeah, I've got I got some Donovan swag myself, and I really loved watching this guy play when there wasn't that much to be excited about for the Utah Jazz that first year. He was must-see TV. There was some crazy dunk, crazy highlight that he did that made this team worth watching during that first year. And yeah, they made the playoffs, and they won a playoff series. Was it the first year or the second year?
The second year.
Second year, yeah.
The second year is when they won the playoff series.
And and then we had Donovan Mitchell, we had Joe Ingles, Joe Johnson, a young Rudy Gobert.
That might have been the first year then, because it would have been the year that Joe Johnson was there. That was the year we beat the Clippers in the first season.
Yeah.
So it might have been that first one. Yeah.
So anyway, rocking our brain there. We can't look it up. It's not like we don't have a way to look it up. But
we don't have any devices that we can just jump on and search.
We just can't be bothered with it. Spider did score 16 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds in that game. As far as that goes, man, Donovan Mitchell, well, he just looks happy to be on that team, man. He just looks like he's comfortable. It looks like he's really gelling with that team right now, and it all looks pretty good, man. I'm excited for him. I hope that they do well in the playoffs because, Donovan Mitchell has been good for one round of victory in the playoffs and then kind of losing after that. They got a good start to being the second best record in the NBA right now, best record in the East. And, with Jason Tatum's uncertainty right now going into the playoffs, it might be a
door wide open for the Cavs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
To get through, and then they're going to run into the buzzsaw that is the Western Conference. But we'd love to hear from you folks. Let us know what you think when it comes to Donovan Mitchell's return to Salt Lake City and how he's liking the new team, man. Yeah, him re-signing with the Cavs really hurt those draft picks. So we just never thought he would re-sign there.
I saw him going to New York for sure.
Yeah, but they got they didn't need him. They got Jalen Brunson. So
that's a tough. Yeah, which underside guard do you want?
You don't need 2 undersized guards. Which one's going to be cheaper, Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell?
And the answer is Jalen Brunson all day, every day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very interesting. But one of the things we also wanted to talk about when it comes to Utah Jazz this week is there was an article on KSL and also on where I saw it, which was on SI.com, is that Coach Hardy wanted the team to focus on one thing the rest of the season. Did you see this article?
I did, absolutely.
Coach Hardy did mention that there is one thing that he wanted this team to focus on for the remaining of the season, and that is just intensity and relentlessness. That's the two things that he really was. I think it was intensity is really what he was wanting to focus on. And after that, getting dump trucked by who they just lose by like 42.
Memphis.
Yes, Memphis just railroaded us. And
that was really rough.
And you could just hear Coach Hardy just going after the team, and his post-game comments just weren't too happy. You could tell he's definitely frustrated with this team in this situation. And I thought it would be good to kind of circle back to this article and kind of revisit it. It's got to be tough, man. The guy got his extension, and he knows that this team is not trying to win games, and he's having to do the new tank thing, which is basically when you're getting close to the game and it's crunch time, yank all your good players out, put in the bench players, and make sure that they lose the game.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want, they're not trying to lose the game, but you're trying to coach these young players up to be better. And, you know, hopefully they don't and they lose the game. So it's got to be tough for him as a player, as a competitor to do that. And the fact that he's still trying to make sure this team focuses on something while, you know, because trying to lose is, you know, bringing in the losing culture is not something you want on a professional team.
Yeah.
And you can see Coach Hardy's really trying hard to avoid that.
The injury list keeps growing. And we're in a very obvious, the injury list keeps growing. And we're in a very obvious tanking situation. We all know what's happening. What we can't overpass with all of the stuff that is happening with this team is how important all of these opportunities are for every one of these young players. Kyle Filipowski, Cody Williams, Isaiah Collier, even Kenyon Martin Jr. I mean, we can go as far as Keontae George. All of these minutes, their ability to keep the intensity and the focus that Coach Hardy is looking for is what is going to dictate whether they are on this team next year.
I would not be surprised if they bring back Martin.
Oh, I think they will.
Like
I think they're trying to give him a good run. Did you see that horrific 3-pointer that he shot up? It was missed by 6.5 feet.
It's like a LeBron 3.
Dude, I've got a 6-year-old that can shoot better than that.
Nice. There's some players on here you got to give a look at. You know, we'll talk a little bit more about the players that basically next week. We'll talk about that. Who's been impressive, who's been disappointing so far this year. We'll talk about that in a future episode. But yeah, man, I think that what the coach is trying to do is still lay into that intensity and let them know that, yeah, hey, we may not be winning games, and the front office may not want us to try and win games, but while you're out there, you got to put this kind of effort, this kind of lack of effort just is unacceptable, and you guys really need to push hard and make an effort. So you absolutely love to see it, man. I love to see that from your head coach, one of the bright spots that we can have, and make sure there's a couple of reasons why you want to get out to a Utah Jazz game this year. Do you remember those two?
A, tickets are super cheap because we suck, and B, concessions are like $2 everything.
Oh no, you're missing it, man. We put out 2 videos in regards to this. The first reason why you got to go to a Jazz game this year is this is the last year that the Delta Center is going to be like this. The Delta Center is going to have to refigure the Delta Center to better fit a hockey rink, so we're not having objective views. So this whole fans on top of the court experience that we've had here in Utah for the last 30 plus years is going to go away.
Yeah.
So you need to get out there and watch a Jazz game for that reason. And secondly, you need to get out and watch a Jazz game because this is the last year we're going to have, how about them Jazz calling the games on the court side.
Yeah.
The PA announcer is retiring after this year, and he's been there every year since the Utah Jazz have been.
They've had one PA announcer the whole time
since before I was born, and I'm old. Be sure to get out and check out a Jazz game while you still can. There's like roughly like 11-ish games left, something like that. So make sure you get out there and check out a Utah Jazz game while you still can, because it will be over before you know it.
Also, like I said, cheap tickets, cheap concessions. Go check it out.
For sure.